Hello, happy day. My name is Miriam. I am a numerologist and an intuitive and many things with that my ego calls me. Hello, I'm here to deliver a message to a collective, to the specific collective who is in collective with me, Miriam Walke. So there's going to be people who are already spiritual, people who are the therapist friend, people who are the ones who are considered the high vibes. Couldn't possibly have anything um, like crazy going on with you, type of thing. I'm gonna read my dice at you. I'm gonna read them at you, and then we'll see what is meant to be told to you. I finally found my dice last night. I've been looking for them and I couldn't find them, and I was frustrated. And then they came to me because now it's time. So because I have my dice, that lets me know I'm supposed to do a reading for you. So featuring my obelisk here, my amethyst. Let's find out what you got to hear. Um, 111. Oh, there we go. We got an orange. Orange lands on one. It's time to start something. It's time to plan something. It says at 131 anyway. Yeah, it's time to start something. It's time to plan something. And listening to your ideas. Understanding that you're an individual and your specific path is yours. Even if it seems identical to somebody else's, it is yours. Orange is caution. Caution, baby. Can you see that? Orange is caution. And it's almost like you haven't been paying attention to your intuition. You've been hearing what you want to hear from people as opposed to what they've been telling you. And so, Spirit says, Dice says 212. Anyway, it's time for you to start listening to your individual intuition, how you are. You're in you, one, singular. I'm getting this vibe of like semi codependency, that the way that the reason why you care and heal so much because you're able to and you're the therapist friend is because it allows you to have really good relationships, and there's almost this value that you give yourself based off of the relationships that you have. This is something that you know, people pleaser, whatever, blah blah blah. You've heard it all. Those same people that you tend to give advice to eventually say that you are being judgmental and critical of them. And it is what it is. Like we're all people. We all got our stuff, you know? I'm over here giving advice to people, but I still have cleaning to do. We're still dealing with moving and unpacking and switching things and people moving stuff out of my house and da da da. It's a lot of stuff, but it is what it is. There are still certain things like I may not be able to lead in that specific thing, but I can lead in other things. 333, as I was saying this, you are meant to lead in something. Figure out what the something is. This is on you, but it's really on yourself. Your ego wants this to be an I and a me thing, but really this is a purpose thing. This is your soul thing. This is what you're meant to do. My next die that was ready to go was my sparkly die, which is all about business, which is all about the material world. And you get a 2. Be patient. What is meant for you is meant for you. Finding the things that you are grateful for and thankful for. I prefer to say thankful over grateful. Finding the things that you are thankful for, things that make you feel peace and balance and like an equal give and take. That is what you are supposed to be doing. And unfortunately, that takes patience. It takes patience with the people around you. It takes giving yourself grace whenever you think you're doing something that you want to do and then you don't do it. Because you have so many skills that you could put them anywhere. And so it's been a lot of, I'm starting something and it doesn't work out. I'm starting something and I don't want it. I started and I don't have passion. Like, you're good at so much stuff. And knowing what you're good at is a great start. Then figuring out what you love is the next thing. You're good at a lot of stuff. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself grace. Finding what you love is often riddled with the path of things that you don't like. I used to sell wedding dresses, and that's what I would tell people anytime they would put on a dress that they hated, or they didn't like, or they didn't immediately love. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a hell no. This is your wedding day. This is about love. And this is how we find out what we love, is by seeing the things that we don't like. By being in that funk and you're like, actually, that does not mix with my chemistry. Be patient. Give yourself grace. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. You just planted these seeds. You're a 1-2 right now. My next die is my glow in the dark die. So what has been hidden from you? What are you hiding from yourself? Or what is what are your egos allowing to hide from your intellect, from your chakras, the things that is trying to be clouded? 5, expansion and change and relief. You feel like you can't have relief. You feel like you have to keep working hard, which is normal. That is society. That is society right now. The belief that we don't have value unless we are doing something, unless we are really grinding ourselves down to the bone and bearing our soul and dedicating more than anybody else and just pouring and giving and bleeding to whatever cause, which is often maybe making sure that you have money or bills paid. But really, perhaps you're somebody who's really against traveling. You don't want to drive anywhere. You want to stay home. It's time to go travel. No matter where you go, you're going to meet good people. And expansion and growth is scary because there's growing pains with it. But even bigger, what I'm getting is that you've already been expanding and growing and changing without acknowledging it, without being like, you know what, I did this. And now I can relax because I'm already doing it. It's the transformation into this mindset of 5 that is really going to launch you into the expansion. I talk about this probably in a few of my videos, but like whenever you're working out and building muscle, like you can, if you want to bulk up really fast, you'll like kind of stretch your muscles and like all of that. But it's also really important to have rest days, so then the healing can happen and then those bonds can actually grow. Now, in people with XX chromosomes or multiple X chromosomes, a lot of times whenever based on those hormones that are in that body, working out too hard can cause cortisol levels to increase, depending on if there is any menstruation or not. And so that can then cause weight gain of fatty tissue as opposed to muscular tissue, because cortisol and stress hormones kind of prepare for the worst. The body says prepare for the worst. So you might be hungry. So let's make sure there's an 848. So you might be hungry, you might be starving for something. So make sure to hold on the fat. So then if there is a famine, then you can eat off of that. Holding on to chemicals, so then you're always in a scared state. So then you're ready to move. But you can't be awake forever. You have to sleep. And so 5 says sleep on it. Relax. It's still saying you are an individual. You are on your path. You are on your path. Be gracious with yourself and relax. Just do it. Way easier said than done, right? My next die, my emotion die. I love this. This is my favorite one because I want to live in it. I'm a Pisces, so I love the blooming. I want to be inside of it. How are your emotions right now? Like, what are your feelings and that internal lake, that inner lake, really trying to tell you? 5. 10 on 1 on my timer. Baby, you are realizing how you are feeling about stuff. You are getting to know yourself in a way that is providing relief in your life. That the time that you used to be anxious, you comprehend what's happening now, so it's not as jarring. Like, say, when certain symptoms start to pop up, or then you're able to recognize what relief does feel like. So, although this is new to you, you are expanding. And you're, through the way that you're feeling and acknowledging those feelings, is how that expansion is going. Feeling afraid is totally okay. And then being able to get to the point where, you know what, I am afraid and I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it scared. And then you do it. And afterwards, you feel exhilarated. You've been paying attention to how although you've always been somebody who understands emotion, very specifically, you are understanding your emotions to the point where through expansion, you're able to simplify it. Yeah. Because you're seeing all these emotions. You're seeing anger, and you're seeing confusion, and you're seeing sadness, and you're seeing all the negative emotions, and then you're seeing joy, and then you're seeing comfort, and you're seeing all these things. And I think that's really what it comes down to. They do say fear and love are the only two feelings that we feel, but I really like to say comfort and startle. Because even as babies, we have a startle reflex. Like, if we're falling, we startle, and then we grasp onto things. We have things that make us turn our head for milk, but we have things that make us repel. So what attracts us? Getting touched on our cheek. We know to turn our cheek to something, or our face to something, so we can eat. When something's put in our hand, we grab. That's attraction. Whenever we feel that we're falling, we immediately go like this. Yes, to protect ourselves, but it is a repelling. It is a startle reflex. So you are figuring out what startles you and what brings you comfort. And there are things that you know that you want in your life that you have to grow towards. And seeing that right now that was just a reflex and I'm not actually falling is there are growing pains in the emotions, is what I will say to you. And it's going to be over soon. My next die is my spirit die, okay? And this is what spiritually, what guides, in general, like, this is your thing, the universe, your inner knowing, your inner wisdom, your truest self, your highest self. What do they have to tell you? 7. Okay. It's funny because it's my spirit time, and I rolled a spirit number. Meditation, babe. Meditation, going out into the park, grounding. It's getting cold, so we tend to go outside a lot less. We tend to wear more boots, especially in areas that I'm at. But talking to your inner wisdom, so then you can be guided to your purpose, because you are so good at so many things. Finding something that is fulfilling and filling your cup, filling your cup, is very important. And becoming aware of what drains your cup is important too. Sometimes you have to take all the water out of your cup to patch a hole in it, because if it's full of water and constantly, like, the clay's never going to dry. You can't really bake. It's got to be dry. You gotta take it out of commission for a second. And that's really what meditation is taking your cup, washing it out, patching it up, putting gold in the seams, and making sure that it's ready to hold water again. Because the thing is, too, is that we aren't always thirsty. Sometimes we've already drank the water and we're hydrated now, and it's within us. And so our cup can be there, but we don't want water just sitting there stagnant. And you know how to pour. You know how to pour from your cup. It is really about refilling your cup, growing your cup. That's all. That's all. We got a red dye. This is about our passions, our love, our heart's desire. 7. Your heart's desire is in the spirit, is in the all of that stuff. You're pretty woo woo. You're here. You're here. So doing stuff like this, I have been talking to people. Like, you look at some other videos of mine. 1616 is what I was saying this, by the way, which is the 775. That you're supposed to be making videos. You're supposed to be making videos and sharing your inner wisdom. Now, you don't have to do it right now. You don't have to. You're totally allowed to do it whenever you want to do it. That's okay. That is okay. But you do know that you want to do it. Okay? And what we're not going to do is be mean to ourselves because we haven't started it yet, or because we start it and stop it. Because sometimes because you feel drawn to it naturally to do this, to make videos, to make content, or to talk, to reach out to people. And we know that technology is a part of that. So, like, whether it be reading tarot cards, whether it be reading dice, whether it be reading stones, whether it's reading, tea leaves, whatever it may be, poems, please, poem. And my other one too. But anyway, it is truly just something that your inner wisdom, like, whenever you're diving into it, you might feel this sinking heart feeling whenever it's time to go meditate. So I say sneak attack yourself with meditation. Because sometimes it feels like we've let ourselves down so much, and then eventually, so once you sneak attack, your heart chakra actually feels more full, as opposed to dreading it, because it's the same. It has two words, basically: startle or or comfort. Lastly, we have our green dye, because it's my last dye. And that is about nature of relationships. And how we can grow within those relationships and within our nature. And whenever I say relationships, I don't mean like necessarily romantic relationships. It can be relationships with your family, it could be relationships with your dog, with your car, and specifically with yourself. So the internal contracts that you have with yourself, external contracts you have with other people, with the universe, nature of relationships. So let's see what's going on with you. 1. I hear lonely. So you feel lonely. You feel lonely. You feel like you don't have, like, not necessarily lonely. You feel alone. And you like to be alone. It's more of like you realizing that you like to be alone. Focusing on the relationship with yourself right now. And understanding that you're not lonely. I mean, I think that's been a big thing for you. Is that you can stand on your own 2 feet without having to be hyper independent. And you're still able to lean into your people. But right now it's time for you to go hermit mode. And learn the things that you need to learn. And I mean, it's when I'm doing this reading, it's wintertime. So it makes sense. But whenever you hear this, you might be hearing it in the summer, and that's okay. You're allowed to hermit whenever it's your hermit time. And you feel that. You feel that it's time for you to go back in and talk to yourself. Because there's this like duty, this responsibility from the universe that you have, the job from the universe, which is for you to let people know the things that you learn whenever you go hermit mode, when you go inward. Because a lot of the knowledge, the therapist friend stuff that you've been doing, it's not just because you're speaking to speak, it's because you've worked on yourself in those ways. So when people come to you and they have those same wonders about themselves, you can help them. Not necessarily give them the answer, but guide them to the direction in order to find that answer about themselves. And so you've taught all that you can teach at this point. And it's time for you to go learn some more. Because you feel the urge to go learn more. 2112, as I was saying that, twin flame number. You're being attracted to do it. And if this is the permission that you need to, like, hey, I'm off social media, I'm not gonna be hanging out too much, I'm gonna be, I'm just gonna, for the rest of this time, and then because it's also the holidays right here, whenever I'm talking about it. But again, it might already be a time where people aren't hanging out, or there isn't a lot of socializing. um and then also, when you do that and you give yourself time to recharge, then you're able to start new relationships, new ones that allow you to be an individual in them. Because the people who stick around as you go in and out of your modes are the ones who understand that you go in and out of your modes, and that's okay. So as you're starting these new relationships with yourself as an individual, the other relationships will come into, and they will help you feel like you are your truest self. They'll help you stand out as the individual that you are, and you'll help them do the same. This is the time that we're in now, is the infinite dichotomy of being individuals in groups and being the hermit and the role model. Human design style. um but other than that, that's your reading for the day. I'll go ahead and do a quick little. That's a 10, that's a 2, that's a 4, that's a 2, that's a 3, that's a 10. So 10, you're starting. You got a 10 energy here. I like the way that I like to talk about 10. 10 is an individual. There's the 1 and the 0. The 1 is moving through the portal. It's 2323 is all saying now. Okay? Which is a 510. Or 5510. 2332. As I say that, so remember, so you were attracted to this. So 10, you're 10ing, you're expanding, you're moving through a portal. It's time. Like, you're the fool and the hermit and all the things, and you're having a great time. Okay? So in the meantime, baby, look out for the numbers and stay synchronized. Okay?